That's what I know. I've never really tried any of that stuff. I know I've been fishing on the Platte River once, and we were in an area that I didn't know was private water, and I was in waders. I don't have a boat, right? And so I was in waders and didn't know that. Brandon came back like a few days after that and was in the same area. Some guy actually walked down the bank, and he was super cool. He was just like, hey, just want to let you guys know, like, this is technically like private land back here, and all you guys got to do is just come up, knock on the door, let me know you're back here. And then told Brandon a story about catching some 6-pound fucking trout back there. And it was like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. We'll be knocking on the door, bud. Like,
I'll be here every day.
Every weekend, bro. I'm just going to leave you sticky notes, and I'm in the water. Like,
in the water.
307 Reacts. I'm Matt. That's Chris. I think I broke my knuckle on that snap. It's bent or something like that. On the screen in front of us, it's our dude, Chris Liepe. If you don't know who that is, I think we have 1 or 2 videos of his on our page.
We have to be careful with some of his stuff because he does take copyright claims in the pursuit of learning. Now, I will tell you this, okay? I've said this over and over again. He has every legal right to not get a copyright claim because it is educational.
Yes.
However, Sony doesn't care. So,
and it's up to it's up to him if he wants to fight it or not. It's the choice he gets to make. I assume a lot of times he probably just doesn't and just lets it go because it's just easier.
He's got a pretty poppin' Patreon.
Anyways, he is a audio engineer, producer, vocalist. I want to say he's probably I don't know all of his credentials, but I would say he's probably like a vocal coach. He knows a lot of techniques about this kind of stuff. He goes through and basically breaks down vocal techniques, different kinds of techniques, guitar, anything. And really dives into why things sound the way they do and why they're good and maybe why they're not so good. And so we've watched a few things on his. Chris introduced me to him a while back, and we just pulled up the other night his vocal analysis of Hayley Williams from Paramore and the song Still Into You. So we're going to listen to... It's kind of weird to explain. We're going to listen to her raw audio takes in this one, and it's going to sound way, way different than it is in the song. But that's how it is in the song, and it's so weird to hear the post and pre-processing in different ways.
So what you're going to be hearing is just her vocal. There'll be no instruments. There'll be no...
And he'll probably explain this,
There'll be nothing. It's just her singing into the microphone.
Yep.
And when you listen to this and then listen to the music video, which we just did, it's the same vocal track. However, the delivery in the studio with just the vocal track, you can actually hear all the nuances in the vocal delivery.
Yep.
And Chris Liepe has a good take on this. I've watched the thing all the way through. I think
I've watched. Well? No, you pulled up a segment where it was pretty much just her raw footage starting, and then we watched her sing like 2 lines, and I was like, oh yeah, put this on the watch later. We're gonna watch this later. So I've seen like a few seconds of her raw footage, but that's about it. Other than that, this is all new to me, and I'm very excited for this. So if you guys are along for the ride, hit that subscribe button. That like button goes a long way. A comment goes even further because we like to talk to you guys, especially about this nerdy audio stuff. It's my favorite thing. So with that, let's get into it, shall we?
Let's get it.
Hey, Chris Liepe here with my very first Hayley Williams vocal analysis. And to start with, which I believe is the perfect place to start, we've got Still Into You, studio vocals, but filmed and recorded home video style. So we get a killer performance to pick apart and learn from, get to see all her mannerisms, body language, the way she works with the mic. And we also get to hear her voice isolated, without all the music, without the production, without the compression on the mic, all that stuff. This is amazing. And this video has been on YouTube for quite a while, and it's got millions and millions of views. So be sure to go rewatch it without interruption so you can appreciate all the nuances that I go through here. This is about learning from Hayley Williams. I get to teach people how to sing on this channel, and I love picking apart vocalists that really know what they're doing, but that also give us lots of clues to how we can improve with our own voice. If you'd like to go deeper with this approach and pull from inspiration you feel from your favorite vocalists and want to do it freely and without judgment, click the link below and join my free voice course.
It's pretty good.
I'll also assure you that there are going to be lots more Hayley videos coming to this channel in the near future.
She's an incredible vocalist.
Can count the years on one hand that we've been together. I need the other one to hold you, make you feel better.
The way she's throwing her shoulders up at the end,
It's
dude.
not a walk in the park to love each other. But when our fingers interlock, can't deny you're worth it. 'Cause after all this time, I'm still into you. I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm in.
Dude, I can't.
Chris Liepe just
I
jamming,
can't tell
dude.
which one's more entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Watching Haley like in the moment,
Yeah.
basically making history,
Yeah.
or watching Chris like raise his
fanboying.
eyebrows and like show
Yeah.
his expression during. Like it's almost like you can see him teaching without without him saying anything. You know,
Yeah.
like his eyebrows move up when she's doing her inflections and like I love the
Right there.
right here. Look at the emotion on his face.
Yeah.
She is speaking right to him. He's
Yes.
like, ooh. He can tell that she's delivering the emotion, you know, and he's like, yes, this is beautiful right here. And like just his entire range of emotions through this little what do I want to call it, pre-chorus section.
segment, yeah.
So good, dude.
Can't deny you're worth
Look at it.
'Cause after all this time, I'm still into you.
He's so happy, dude.
I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm into you. And baby, even on our worst nights, I'm into you. Let them wonder how we got this far, 'cause I don't really need to wonder at all. Yeah, after all this time, I'm still into you.
All right. This is incredible stuff.
Yeah.
And there's so much going on here. I want to highlight just a few things that she's doing, whether she's thinking about it or not, that set her apart as an incredible vocalist. If you've ever felt tense or trapped or not expressive enough or contrived or fake with your voice, what I'm about to unpack in Haley Williams is going to be gold for you. Let's go back. Watch her body language. She's chill. She's listening to the producer in the other room. And then she like bounces into character. Ready?
Can count the years
Boom.
on one hand that we've been together. I need the other one to hold you.
I need the other one to hold you. You can feel the rhythm.
yeah.
Even though we can't hear the track, we can hear little bits of bleed. You can feel the rhythm in her performance. She is acting like a vocal percussion or a percussion instrument here in her vocal delivery. That is huge.
Well,
But she
and
wouldn't-
just to add really quick, it's also an amazing thing for a drummer too, because when you can work off of the vocalist, like when he's talking about, then you can be it gives the drummer the opportunity, like
Put some
and like
splashes.
yeah,
in
like
here,
add some things that tie in with the vocal, and then before you know it, those little lines are way more impactful than they initially were, and they're already delivered well.
Yeah.
Then when you get the instruments kind of backing it up like that and like plucking out these little nuances, man.
Yeah.
And we're probably going to say that word a lot in this video because that's kind of what it's all about. But it just brings the entire thing together. And there's a video on the internet that I've been meaning to watch. It's called "The Impossible Task of Being Paramore's Drummer," and
God.
it's a very, very clickbaity title, and I've come across it a few times, but it's not on a page I watch, so it's only come up a few times. Next time it comes up, I'm going to click on it because I think she's on like maybe her second or third drummer now, and it's an interesting backstory. So I mean, it really is. There's like I'm pretty sure there's a love triangle in there somewhere, and like no
it's
joke,
been wild.
Yeah, so it'd be an interesting Paramore as a band is kind of like a whole vibe. So if you don't know anything about them, it's worth it to watch a
Read
couple
up
videos.
on the lore.
Yeah,
Right.
to do a little lore exploration with it.
Be able to do that, nor would she be able to give this in-your-face performance if she was stuck trying to hit notes.
Yes.
Her body language, her entrance into this character helps her be rhythmically engaged, but also engaged with her pitch in a way, because she's not focusing on pitch. She's focusing on engagement, rhythmic engagement, emotional engagement. You see all over her face as she moves, all over the place. Watch her face again here.
Can count the years on one hand that we've been together.
years on one hand. I mean, I'm playfully exaggerating this. But when was the last time you, as a vocalist, did something, enunciate? It's more than enunciating. It is changing the resonance and placement. Could count the years on one hand. Could count the years on one hand. We've been together. We've been together. Now, you might say, well, I actually prefer the one where you're like more boring. The other one sounds contrived and weird. Yes, but in my case, maybe so. But we have to get to the point.
In my case, maybe, because again, he's playfully exaggerating and maybe the softer one would sound better in a softer environment, in an acoustic setting where she needed to re-record and be a little more soft with her delivery, which I guarantee Hayley Williams would do that. She would react accordingly. It would probably sound better. But once you get the mix in on this one and you hear how punctuated the mix is, boom, it's like very staccato type of rhythm. So she's acting accordingly and punching in like she should. Yeah, it's art. It legitimately is art, and this is like good art coming together, and that's how it's made, man. It's really awesome.
Yes, but in my case, maybe so. But we have to get to the point as vocalists where we are able to abandon into this sort of ridiculousness in order to free ourselves to fully emotionally engage with what we are singing. And she's doing that. How she shapes her mouth, allows her mouth to be shaped. She lengthens together, been together. Those sorts of little nuances are part of what we love about her vocals. There is so much variety in tone, timbre, and a rhythmic connection and intensity. Not tension, but intensity, engagement. If she was tense, that would be competing with her ability to be free as a vocalist. So let's watch with those things in mind. Notice how she moves, gets her shoulders, gets her swing, and of course her jaw, her face, all those things are intense, not tense, keeping her from doing what she wants to do because she's thinking about being good. She's abandoned into this character.
I need the other one to hold you, make you feel better.
Make you feel better.
You can almost see her smile when she does that, too.
That's really interesting. This, make you feel better, isn't. She's moving that resonance around, partially by directing the energy with her face, but also her posturing and the way she's moved her jaw. Don't worry about the pitches. Just worry about the expressiveness. Better, 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 better. Forward and belted, bright and sort of, better.
It's not a walk in the park to love each other.
Each other.
But when our fingers interlock,
Love that part.
can't deny you're worth it. 'Cause after all this time.
And then,
after all this time.
It's
notice on time. Time becomes long and sort of sighed and breathy. And she's just gotten done being very forward and brash. This amount of character.
It's the relief.
This is why we love Hayley's voice. Anybody can get out of their own head enough to be this expressive. Yeah, there's some vocal technique and giftings and stuff that not everybody has. But it starts with getting out of your own head and need to be perfect so that you can be free and expressive.
And just that idea alone has changed the way that I have sang, like, ever since I came across this channel.
Yep.
The thing is like classical training, there's parts of it that are important, right? Through high school and all of that, that's what they teach you. How to sing from your diaphragm and not your chest, how to, breathe properly and posture properly. And when you hit a note and you're singing, typically it's classical music, you have to shape your mouth a certain way and deliver it a certain way. Like, all of that's important to just know to get you, like, kind of started, but it's not necessarily necessary.
Yeah.
The biggest thing in, like, all of the tracks that have ever been recorded that were just legendary, they're not perfect. They're not classically, even if you were to look at classical music, how much classical music do you know of that has vocals in it that is, like, still regularly listened to today?
I didn't even know classical music had vocals in it. Like, I didn't think that was a thing, you know, unless we're talking like classic rock, which is a whole different category. But like classical as like the period or whatever, I didn't even know it had vocals in it, man.
There's very, very, very little because it was either in German, French, or Latin.
Yeah.
But like,
and it's not being listened to.
And the thing is like all of the wonderful, like you think of the most legendary track you could ever think of. Let's just take, for example, Metallica. They're one of the biggest bands in the world. One by Metallica is one of those songs that is, hey, everybody knows the song. And it's because, number one, the guitars are delivered a specific way, which throws the whole classical guitar thing out the door.
Yeah.
It's played purely on emotion. The vocals are delivered with great emotion.
Well, and
you kind of throw the whole book away and just go, this is how this song feels, and I'm going to deliver it to you on feeling.
James Hetfield too, and he's another great example of an awesome vocalist. You know, as prima donna as you want to say Metallica is, you know, if you watch videos of them in their studio, they all have their own rooms and they get catered, and you know, Lars is getting foot rubs and massages and getting food brought to him all the time. Whatever.
Yeah.
James Hetfield still has his own setup to go into where he can get into a character, and you can see it when he goes to sing. I think he even brings his guitar in him with it in the booth and like plays while he's doing the thing, so he can emulate being on stage and performing and doing the performance thing, because that's where it is. It's in the performance and not in the vocals. You get away with it more and more nowadays. I would say it's more important nowadays to focus, like you were talking about, focus on the performance rather than, look, there's a fundamental...
Oliver Anthony is a fantastic example. Talk about somebody who's winning right now.
Look at the thumbnail on our page. I caught him in that little, but
he did not hit every note perfect.
Especially nowadays,
God, man.
like, it's more valuable to pay attention to the performance. There's a fundamental level of knowing pitch, obviously, that goes into being a vocalist. If you're going to decide you want to be a singer, you should know fundamental things. You should know how to get to the note, and if you're actually close to it, right? You should be able to hear that. That comes with a little bit of training, right? But nowadays, if you deliver a great performance, it's not so important to worry about the note. It's even less nowadays. It wasn't a big deal back in the day, but it's even less nowadays because, I mean, autocorrection is getting to a point where it's indecipherable from the human ear. So I'm more concerned as a producer about the grit, the emotion, the softness, the staccato, the percussion in your voice. I'm more interested in that. And we did a lot of that with the 10 for 10 guys.
We did.
It was like, I want you to shape your voice. Give me the feeling, the emotion.
I said, you know, in this song, I remember telling Joey, he was standing right here, and I was sitting right where I'm at. And I was like, you know, I pictured this crazy dude who's like just came out of the bathroom at a gas station. He's on like his last cigarette. He's got his shirt tied around his waist, and he's just kind of like crazy telling you the story of all the shit that's happened to him. I said, give me that like crackhead tweaker energy.
Give me
on this
that
track,
guy.
man.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
give
yeah.
me that guy.
Give me that Las Vegas heat tweaker kind of guy.
And it just it hit. He was
and
like,
we got to
okay,
take
cool.
Yeah, and we got to take
great.
out of it. So yeah, I would say it's more important to worry about your delivery, your performance than staying on pitch. And you can hear it sometimes. She doesn't get all the notes, but again, the producer just goes, oh, whoop. Or, you know, in her case, they're in a studio for months and months, so it's like we can just hit it again, and you can get that one part, and we can get those notes, whatever they need to do. But delivery is key for sure.
And need to be perfect.
That's it.
So that you can be free and expressive.
I'm still into you.
And right?
I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm into you.
Butterfly.
And
Hey,
there's even a
baby,
break
even
there.
on the worst nights, I'm into you.
See, she's a little sharp there.
Notice the size. This is another
size.
thing that great vocalists, including Haley, do all the
Freddie
time.
Mercury's
Butterflies, eyes. That kind of thing where you enter into a really neat belted.
By the way, okay, speaking of size, okay, listen to any My Chemical Romance song. The size are what made that music
what was his
so
name?
great.
Gerard or whatever.
Gerard Way.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, really.
He does
really
a
good.
breakdown on one of their stuff, and he talks about the size. And literally, if you were to sing the whole song without the size, it's not the same song.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
wild.
That's true.
That kind of thing where you enter into a really neat belted state with a great note, but you don't get locked into it. So you don't get tired. You release into a different note. These sighs, connecting various notes and phrases, keep you free, and they add this extra expressive element to your phrasing.
First nights,
Little
how
sigh?
into
You.
And then even before, she was like,
There's another
"Come
sigh at the
into
end.
you," you know?
She uses them in all different shapes and sizes.
Maybe even on our worst nights, how into you. Let him wonder how we got this far, 'cause I don't really need to wonder at all. Yeah, after all this
Wonder at all. Huh?
Eh?
time, I'm still into you.
If you want to, try this along with me. Wonder at all. I'm going to put the notes in a way that resonates with my voice a little bit more comfortably. And I'm going to connect the phrase. Wonder at all. Wonder at all. Instead of wonder at all. That way feels more tense. I feel like I'm competing with myself.
yeah.
But just the fact that I have that sigh to abandon into wonder at all makes me feel more free because there's more variety and it's less strenuous.
Recount the night that I first met your mother.
Big one there.
Yeah.
And on the drive back to my house,
Percussion.
I told you that I loved you.
Love those sighs and squeaks there, even in the midst of the percussion.
You felt the weight of the world fall off your shoulder.
Listen to her face. Watch her jaw.
And to your favorite song we sang.
I heard
Listen
it.
to my face. Listen to my face.
Listen to her face and her jaw. Listen to them.
Listen.
And look, the
That's
only
good.
place you can get away with saying that and it actually doesn't
Yeah.
sound crazy is in a recording setting.
Yeah.
Like listen to her face. It's legit.
And your face ain't saying enough, okay? I need to hear more from your face.
Just get your talkback mic on. You're just like, yeah, can I hear that from your face and not just
Yeah.
your mouth? Thanks. And then just start the track again and just
Vocalist back
watch.
there like,
And then just watch him through the window. I wish I had a partition in this studio. Maybe someday
so
that
good.
we'll knock this out and put a window and drums will be
Yeah.
over there or something like that. That'd
Oh,
be
man.
great, man. Because
I need to hear that from your face and less of your mouth.
Yeah.
Thank you.
thank you. Let's hit it again.
There, even in the midst of the percussion.
Love it.
You felt the weight of the world fall off your shoulder.
Listen to her face. Watch her jaw.
And to your favorite song we sang along into the start of forever.
You would think if you saw someone talking like this on the street forever, you'd be like, what?
That's the guy
what
from
are
the
you
gas
doing?
station.
Yeah.
This is part of the character, part of the
Guy
act,
to
part of
gas
what we
station,
love.
man.
'Cause after all this time,
Ooh,
I'm
that was
still
good.
into you.
Wind that instead of
I
breathy.
should be over all the butterflies, but I'm into you. And baby, even on our worst nights, I'm into you.
Sighs. She couldn't hear herself.
Let them wonder how we got this far, 'cause I don't really need to wonder at all. Yeah, after all this time, I'm still into you.
A lot of people say, you don't want to be singing like this, right? Into you. And oh, she's got a lot of neck tension. If she was having problems with her delivery or her intensity,
Well, some things just make sense, and one of those is you and
I would say that she's doing something wrong. But she's sort of aiming up to the mic, and what she's doing, what some may perceive as tension visually, is not competing with her ability to deliver. Mm-hmm. There's a very fine line there with our own vocal performance as well.
Some things just make sense, and even after all this time,
All this time.
I'm into you.
Beautiful.
Baby, not a day goes by that I'm not into you. I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm into you.
Gotta hear that again.
So
Hell yeah.
Make sense in one of those.
Her mic control is great too.
I was gonna say
her
that,
mic
yeah.
control is so good. She knew. She was like, and even if you watch her in a regular performance, my general rule of thumb for a pop filter is usually the pop filter is a couple, like an inch or two in front of the mic, and then general rule of thumb, if you're going to be singing at a normal volume, normal singing volume. And it varies for most people, but if you put a fist in between your mouth and the pop filter, that should be far enough away that you won't get any clicks and pops in the full mix, but you still get the dynamic range, so you can hear the sighs and the breaths and things like that.
I have a hell of a time on Creep. I think I did okay. I only had to do 2 takes because I clipped the mic, but on Freebird, when we did that cover, God, dude, I near about had to go in the living room back here on the other side of the wall to not clip the microphone.
Yeah, and and that's another thing. There's a certain level of post-production that a producer can do to volumize the vocal, but it's so much easier to get it in one take and just have everything kind of self-volumized with the mix, right? So the less post-production you have to do, the better. And this kind of stuff is like a producer's wet dream, like someone that can get.
So for those of you who have no clue what we're talking about, mic control is to, like, if I'm going to come and whisper to you, I'm going to get closer to the mic. And then, of course, as I get louder, I'm going to back away. And if I really want to yell at you, I'm going to back further up.
Like when I do the intros, it's always 307 reacts. I'm Matt. That's Chris. I'm always way back here, and you can hear me really well.
So that way you're not blasting
you're not clipping the speaker, the sound, the signal. You're not. If I get up close like that, it's just going to sound distorted and it's going to start crackling, and you know the sound.
Some nasty
and
noises.
you can blow microphones up that way too, especially like the one she's recording on is probably driven by a tube, probably a very expensive, multi-$1,000 microphone, and you don't want to blow those things up. So that bridge part where she backs up there and does that was perfect. That's exactly what she needed to do. So let's go.
You and I are so.
You and I.
He's just
Very
like
theatrical there, right?
Things just make sense, and one of those is you and I. Or some things just make sense, and even after all this time, I'm into you.
I love how she transitions into head voice there. I'm in chest. I'm into you.
Yeah, really good.
That's really, really a good use of resonance and register transfer, right? She's actually going lower as she gets quieter and goes into head voice. An artistic, meticulous choice.
Baby, not a day goes by that I'm not into you.
Hear how she used that sigh at the very, it's like a squeaky sigh on that in. Into you to further the intensity and vulnerability.
I'm into you. Baby, not a day goes by that I'm not into you. I should be over all the.
Also,
then she
she's
gets-
lengthening.
She gets so pissed
opening those valves
right away, right? She gets so mad. She does this big soulful expression, and then she's like, "I should be over all the butterfly," like like she gets angry.
great.
She brings herself back into that character, and she's like, "Wait, stop talking good on this man. Why am I still into you? What is going on here?" Yeah, I love it, man. You can see all of that. So good. Oh no. Okay. Control doesn't do anything, turns out. We learned that. Look at us.
Hopefully.
We'll find out.
Also, she's lengthening and opening those vowels up. Not into you, but into you, which furthers this larger-than-life resonance as you open vowels into you versus into you. They both sound okay.
They're still good, yeah.
But the open sounds way better, especially for the climax.
It's all about
in this
context,
song.
baby.
Baby, not a day goes by that I'm not into you. I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm into
I can hear the drums.
Yeah.
And baby, even on our worst nights, I'm into
It's a cool articulation right there.
Let them wonder how we got this far, 'cause I don't really need to wonder at all, yeah.
Okay, one more thing I have to point
like
out
the
on
ads.
that high point. Listen to how she closes the vowel closes yo at the very end to bring us back to, like, this is a diction thing. We can open and lengthen to get the intensity out, but then we close it at the very end to bring us back to what the word actually is. That is huge, huge, huge. We don't just want a bunch of, 'cause I'm anti-yo! Just sounds like stupid
Creed.
shouting. It's the articulation and the nuance that really makes this.
Hold me now. Hold me now. Yeah.
Oh,
Anti-yo!
yeah, okay.
Just sounds like stupid shouting. It's the articulation and the nuance that really makes this work.
Some things just make sense, and even after all this time, I'm into you. Baby, not a day goes by that I'm not into you.
Yo! Right at the very end there.
It sounds like he's just super impressed. He's all, yo, that was dope, dude.
Yo! Right at the very end there.
By that I'm not into you. I should be over all the butterflies, but I'm
So
into
good, man.
you. And baby, even on our worst nights, I'm into you. Let them wonder how we got this far, 'cause I don't really need to wonder at all. Yeah, after all this time, I'm still into you. I'm still into you. I'm still into you.
What a fantastic performance, and how fun it is to hear and see it in this raw form. Just taking a few things away, the way she uses sighs and squeaks to abandon into free and powerful parts of her voice. Massively awesome. Also, the way she uses her face to create sound and resonance variation and intensity along with rhythm, right? Really spitting out those words and making it borderline. When we first start doing this stuff, it can be goofy, but if we experiment with stuff like that in our own voice, we're gonna get a lot more intensity out of our voice just by the way we're creating opportunities for rhythmic percussive engagement with our diction. And then finally, another thing that goes along with diction but also resonance is the way that she would open vowels, lengthen strategically so that she gets the perfect balance of power and expressiveness, and loudness and beltiness out of a certain note, but also is able to bring us back to what's actually being said. Again, if you'd like more help with your own voice and dialing some of this stuff in a non-threatening, freeing way, click the link below and join my free course. And stay tuned for more Hayley Williams on this channel coming up soon.
So, before I say my closing remarks,
I have one too.
I think an amazing closing remark from him is going to be the intro to that second video.
Oh, should we watch it really quick?
I would love to just the first little bit where he talks about what he's doing. And if you guys would like us to check out the second one, let us know down in the comments. But go ahead and pull it up.
Okay, I'm just going to let it run really quick.
Hey, Chris Liepe here. I promised more Hayley Williams, and I'm making good on that promise. And I'm doing this series on Hayley Williams for two reasons. Number one, many of you have been asking for it for many years. And number two, I love pulling from vocalists who are especially expressive and comfortable. This comfortability makes them more expressive, interactive, and giving to their audiences, which is actually the precursor to a great voice.
That it?
It's not great technique. It's not giftedness necessarily or natural talent. It's the ability to be confident, comfortable, and expressive.
I see you.
And comfortable with your ability to express and share.
I see you. I see you.
That's it.
That is a huge that's massive.
It's massive.
It's way less about being the best singer, the best drummer, the guitar player who can play the fastest. It's way less. I would much rather, and don't get me wrong, there's these guitar players out there that are unbelievable, and they're some that are unmatched in their ability to play the guitar. I still think I'd rather watch somebody run up and down the stage and jump off of shit and kind of make a mess of things and just having a blast. I feel like that guy's going to be a lot more fun to hang out with afterwards than than the other guy who's spent. And don't get me wrong, there's respect to be had for both worlds, obviously. But man, the delivery.
There's a guitarist. His video is famous. He plays in kind of a rockabilly band or a southern rock band, where he has a beer bottle and he's using it as a slide or whatever, and it's not overly complicated what he's doing, and then he takes the bottle, puts it in his mouth, chugs it, and just plays these same 3 notes over and over again super fast, and then the singer comes and takes it from him, and that's the end of his solo.
Well, I think
he's not a fantastic guitar player.
I think
it's
after
the showmanship.
That, before the singer takes, because I've seen that video. After that, the singer, before the singer takes it, he takes it back out of his mouth and puts his finger in it, and then is tapping the frets.
There was another video, but same guy.
Same thing. Yeah, okay, and that kind of stuff. Not super complicated what he's doing, but he's interacting, he's engaging, and at that point, it doesn't have to be the most technical thing in the world. Yeah. How many other dudes have you seen do that? Before I saw that video, I was like, well, I knew you could use a beer bottle as a slide, but this guy is doing it.
This guy is
very creatively. This guy has had plenty of beers and sat down plenty of nights with his guitar and just got real bored and started dicking around. And like he said, like Chris Liepe says, through experimentation and sometimes
doing goofy things.
Sometimes that ridiculousness comes the great performance, and before you know it, your video's on the internet, you're getting millions of hits because you did something that you thought was ridiculous and everyone else was like, yeah, that's a little ridiculous, but it's attractive and I like it and I'm coming back for more. So man,
and I've been working with I don't know if Carly Shay wants me to talk about it, but I'm gonna talk about it. She's been wanting to do a song where she wants to get in to learn how to do audio production. Right, she's like, not that I want to get super good at it, but I just want to dip my feet in it, see what it's about, and actually go through the process of what Matt went through on the Creep video. And she's like, I want to start with something fairly easy.
I was going to say, the Creep video was an easy. That was a softball. I was barely even present for that. It was kind of like check in every once in a while and go, how's this sound? What's this? And Chris would go, how do you do that thing on here? And I'm like, oh, you just press this and this. He's like, oh, that's right. And then I'm like, okay, see you later. That was a softball. So something like that, yeah.
But so she's like, but I need to figure out what song I want to do. I want to make sure I can, she says if I can't play it all on all the instruments, I may hit you up and, you and Matt could do something for me or whatever. And I was like, that's no problem at all. But the biggest thing is she's been working on her voice. She did okay in Creep, but there's a lot of expression that wasn't there that I would like to see. And that's okay.
That's fine.
She's not a professional singer.
Well, and we're all going to be uncomfortable with our first times. There's a first time for everything, and it's usually awkward and uncomfortable, and you feel a little bit let down after afterwards. That's typically the case.
And then when you got to email us just your vocal track with no instruments and listen back to it,
you're like, no. And then that's the thing is you are your own worst critic. So how many takes are you going to take before you finally decide this has to be the one?
You know what? We'll do this, okay? If you guys really want us to feel bad about something, pick one of the covers that we have done in this studio, and we will break it down. Instrument by instrument,
we could
vocal line by vocal line.
I think we still have all the audio files. Creep would be the easiest to access. I don't know if I'd be able to get all the Melodyne out of it, and that's not an exaggeration. There's Melodyne in it, so and it's been mastered. So I don't know, but
maybe
we can look into it.
Freebird, I think, would be another interesting.
Freebird would be real interesting.
Freebird would be really interesting. You guys would love to see that one broke down. But anyway, the point is me and her were having a conversation. She was like, I feel like I'm, and she goes, I just want to sing this part for you. Let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. So she's singing it, and number one, she's come out of her shell a lot to where she doesn't sound super quiet and squeaky. She has a little more confidence in it, but she's still, you can tell she's still wrestling with did I get the note there? Did I not get the note?
That's fair.
And so the one piece of advice I gave her is I was like, hey, this section, I just took one line. It was 4 words. I said, this one line expresses so much out of the song. It's describing how the rain falls into a river. And I was like, if you picture all the words individually and sing the words how you think those elements would interact. So the rain is kind of a falling, like a light, the rain, you kind of, the rain, deliver it. and then the river, it's kind of rivers, got kind of a curve to it like a river would. I said, put a picture to every word. And that's something Freddie Mercury did really, really well. One of the greatest vocalists, to ever live. I mean, as far as rock goes, I mean, he's fantastic.
He definitely revolutionized rock and roll music for sure.
Big time.
He was in there.
But like that, and she was like, oh, okay, I can see it. So then a couple days later, she shot me a video back and it was better. And then she was like, I feel like I can't hit that note. And I was like, well, don't worry about hitting the note. I said, figure out a way to where you feel the song. Don't worry about singing the song, feel the song. And then the rest of it will kind of follow afterwards. And not to say that like, even though you can feel it, you can miss the notes. That happens.
There are fundamentals, right? In being a singer, you need to know the ground rules, right? Like Chris said. There's a certain fundamentalness to being able to find the note, right? And not necessarily that you have to be there. It's just it's good to know that you're in the ballpark, right?
At least be in the neighborhood.
Yeah, little sharp, little flat, no big deal.
Problem.
No big deal at all. You know?
But the other thing I told her too is I said you're gonna be the weirdest one out of your friend group, and
100%.
That's what happens when you're a vocalist.
100%.
That's why Doobie is the way he is.
Yep.
Doobie is an incredible vocalist, and it's because he's always got the. If you guys listen to Doobie talk when he's joking around, he's got this kind of gruff, like, and like all of that crazy crackhead energy and all the different places his voice goes. Is what makes him a strong singer. Yep. And so I told her, I was like, what I do at work, and like I get so hard on myself about doing harmonies because it always takes me try after try after try to get it right. What I've been doing is like the lift, when I'm sitting lifting a car at work.
Harmonize with it. Hey man. That's good.
And so like, that's a practice thing you can do. When you hear a siren go by, try to emulate noises you hear. You're not ever gonna do a in music, but you know that. Well, that was higher than the note I was trying to hit the other night, and I could hit that. Like, what's the difference?
It's about bridging the gap. That's all it is.
That's all you got to do is figure out how did I shape my mouth to get that siren noise.
You weren't straining for it. You weren't focused on it. You were you just did it, and it just worked. Yeah. It's like similar like when you laugh. Most people when they laugh in a higher timbre than when they talk. You're not forcing that higher timbre. It just happens. It's in there. And oftentimes, like when I laugh way higher than I sing most of the time. So like if I can hit those notes when I'm laughing, I can hit them when I'm singing.
Figure it out. Yeah.
It's about bridging the gap and just practice makes perfect, obviously, And one thing I wanted to point out, like my kind of closing remarks on this, something that Chris didn't touch on there, was the fact that there was no stop-start in that at all. She did one take all the way through. And good vocalists and good producers and engineers, it's kudos to her engineer, whoever it was at the time, know that the performances happen one at a time. Yeah. It's not this stop-start, let's get these 3 lines, these 4 lines, because she needs to perform the song. She doesn't need to perform 2 lines.
The only exception that I would say to that is if you're recording vocal screams or growls.
Well, yeah, there's different situations for everything, right? But like in something like this where it's a singing melody all the way through the thing, and there's one singer, she doesn't switch off with anybody else. It's like So how do you play the song live? You sing all the way through it, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do. You're gonna sing. You know how to sing the song, right? So we're gonna perform it. And oftentimes that's where you get the gold. And I like that they did it that way. There was never a stop. She sang through the entire thing, did the performance, and then you can come back and start fine tuning things if you need to, or you keep it as an audition and you run another one, and then you keep that one as an audition. You run another one, and then you do what's called a comp or a compilation at the end, where you go through and find the best sections. What was her best first verse?
Which we also did with the 10-4-10.
Exactly. What was her best chorus? What was her best? What was her best second chorus out of these 4 auditions that she did? Then you use those and you pile those together to a one master vocal, and that's how you get your end result. Yep. Either way, she sang the song through she performed it 4 times. We're just taking the best parts of each performance and putting them into one great, awesome, groundbreaking sound. Yeah. And that's how you get those sounds, man. I kudos to them. Kudos to their producer. Kudos to the song. Kudos to Chris. This is awesome. I love these, man. It's so informative. I love getting to break this stuff down and hear it soloed out. It's so cool, dude.
Oh, it's so good. And I cannot recommend Chris Liepe enough. Like even if you're not a vocalist trying to learn anything, if you're just somebody who enjoys music, Chris Liepe can show you some incredible things about fantastic music. Like the whole fact that Freddie Mercury doesn't even sing on key all the time, what just blew me the fuck away.
I was going to say,
and then the fact that there's a vocal track in a lot of Michael Jackson songs that all he does, like, yeah, so it's not like he's singing, you know, like he doesn't do it while he's singing. He has a track where he's listening to the song and
like he does all that. Yeah, it's so weird. And not just one. He'll like double and triple those too, and like use them in stereo.
And then he'll add harmonies to some of them. It's wild.
Even if you're not interested in the technical side of it, and you just want to hear some vocals pulled out of some of your favorite songs from back in the day, and hear how wild they actually are, because it gets crazy out there.
It does.
This is Chris Liepe is an awesome resource. He's really really good. I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
5 out of 5 all day,
5
man.
out of 5, man.
I can't wait to watch this one because it's definitely on the list now.
If you guys want us to break down one of the songs we've done, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
If you guys want us to check out this part 2 of the Paramore Last Hope live, let us know. We'll have to check licensing on it. In fact, let's go.
Oh yeah, I guess she's gonna pull a full song on here.
Nope. Can't
never
do
mind.
part 2. But if you guys would like us to break down one of ours line by line, instrument by instrument, we can certainly do that and show you how kind of wild and crazy it gets in here sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this episode as much as we did, be sure to leave a thumbs up, smash that subscribe button, click the bell, become part of the notification gang. We'll see y'all next time. Ow.
I don't know why I did this weird, like, hold up the... I don't know what the hell that was.